So I started off this card with the CC Designs Summer Emma image that I inked up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink and stamped her onto CC Designs Copic Quality white cardstock. And as always, starting with the skin first, so I'm just laying down a little bit of a base with my E50 Copic marker, and then going in with my E01 to add a little bit of a darker shade, and then finally going in with my E13, which is my darkest, and just lightly along the edges adding that in. And then I blend the E13 out a little bit with the E01 again, just small circular motions to kind of blend the colors together. So super simple. I'm not too worried about going outside the lines because I plan on cutting the image out. So once I've got the two blended together, I go back with my E50, my lightest, and blend everything together again just to soften it all. Just small circular motions again. And yeah, not worrying about going outside the lines at all. So then for her cheeks, just R20, and since it was still wet, I didn't need to blend it at all. I just laid down the color and it was good to go. So then for her hair, I wanted to do kind of like a strawberry blonde sort of color. So I went in with YR31 first, and then YR23. And I'm just using like a flicking motion, like pulling the color towards me or flicking it away from me. And then going in with my YR27, which is my darkest. So once I've got that, then I go back in with my YR23, my middle color, and just kind of add some more in and kind of pulling it more into the middle. And then my YR31, which is my lightest, and then finally going back with my YR27, which is my darkest. I just go back and forth. I don't do any blending when I do hair. And then this time I wanted to add just a little bit more depth and make it a little more red. So I took my E08, which is kind of a deeper reddish brown sort of color, and just really filled it in and added more color to the hair. So just added all that in, just like so, and kind of back and forth. And then I went back in with the YR27, which was the darkest kind of yellowy orange color, just to fill it in a little bit more and to finish it off. So I left her dress completely because I plan on paper piecing it. So after I cut out the image, which I did off camera because my camera can't focus when I'm trying to cut out a detail image, I stamped the image onto one of the pattern papers. This is the Authentic Delightful 6x6. So I stamped the dress, well, I stamped the whole image and just cut out the dress and her little hair pin or whatever you want to call it onto the pattern paper, trim those out, and then just using my Tombow Mono Multi liquid glue to adhere that to her. And then as always, rather than just leaving it as is, I took my W3 and W1 Copic markers just to give it a little bit of shading and depth. So I started with the W3 and just added just the littlest bit of definition. Went along the bottom. And then rather than just doing a line at the bottom, just went up a little bit more, just to kind of create, you know, a little bit of like a wave in the dress. And then I blended that out with the W1. And that just kind of finished it off and just made it go with the rest of the image. You guys know I like my paper piecing. I can't help myself. So I'm using obviously the same pattern papers for the rest of the card, the Delightful papers. So I already have my layout kind of in mind. So I got everything adhered, and then I grabbed some pink. This is just light pink satin ribbon from my stash, and tied that in a bow. I still get lots of questions about bows, so I'm trying to like actually just show this in my videos. Sometimes it just comes together perfectly like this. Other times I have to tie it 3 or 4 times. But again, I've been tying bows on cards for years now. So it just, after tons of practice, it just becomes easy. So once I've got the bow tied, trim off the tails, and then shift it over to the side. And then I wanted to pop little Emma up on dimensional, so I just grabbed these 3D foam square ones because they're just nice and tiny, so I didn't have to cut anything apart. Pop those on, and then she's all done. And then for the sentiment, I chose the sentiment from my So Wordy stamp set. It's just a little smile stamp, so I inked it up with the same Memento black ink, and then stamped it onto a scrap of, this is Stampin' Up's Pink Pirouette, I think is what it's called. Cardstock, just really nice light pink. And then punched it out with Stampin' Up's small oval punch. It fit perfectly. So added adhesive, and then I decided last minute to put it on the upper right side of the card front so that I don't have all the embellishments and everything all along the right, left side, I mean. And then I grabbed a bunch of Prima flowers from my stash, just a bunch of random ones, just some blues, a couple oranges, and then yellow one. And then attached them all with just different sizes of white brads. So once I've got those attached and then flattened out, as always, my just go-to Scotch acid-free tape that you can get anywhere, Walmart, wherever. Put that over the backs of the ribbon there so that the ATG adhesive glides over it. And I matted that with a piece of just white cardstock, just to kind of frame it a bit. And then I'm going to put more adhesive on that and attach it to the card itself, which is again just the pink Pirouette cardstock as my base. So once I've got that attached, I actually forego the stickles for once and didn't add any to it. I wanted to kind of keep this card just soft and simple. Then for the inside of the card, these are all just the pattern paper scraps left over from cutting out the pieces for the front. So I use those for the inside, and then the blue part is soft enough that you can just write right over that with no problems. And then I grabbed another sentiment from the So Wordy set, inked it up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, stamped it on the pink Pirouette cardstock, and then used my go-to favorite old Stampin' Up! Key tag punch. They retired this. I don't know why they discontinued this punch. It is my absolute favorite. I do know some people have been able to find it on eBay, so you never know. Anyway, adhere that to the inside of the card, and that's all there was to it. So as always, there'll be links below to all the supplies used. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!